Hi there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, and wellness coach from danaarcuri.com. And today I was reflecting on how 5 years ago on this very day I started tapering off of benzodiazepines, and the particular drug that I was prescribed was Ativan. And originally I had been prescribed that drug in the spring of 2010. And the doctor was thinking that it may help with my fibromyalgia pain and with my insomnia. And so I started taking that drug, and by early summer, I couldn't even think straight, and I lost my cognitive function. I couldn't remember my phone number. I became someone who I didn't like, someone who I didn't recognize. My personality changed drastically. It was very unpleasant. I couldn't stand my own self. And I could, look back now, and it's still painful. I think, even though I have 5 years where I'm looking back and I am reflecting, there are times when I still could have some anger that could surface from this. I could still have times where I could feel sad. I could feel that it never should have happened. I wish now, looking back, that I would have known so much more about this drug. I wish now I would have read and looked into and researched from credible websites the dire implications involved with benzodiazepines. But, sometimes we don't always look into things. We don't always know. And the truth is, many of us, we want to trust our doctor. We want to believe that they know what is best for us. We want to believe that they are trying to help us, and maybe they really are. But you know what? Nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. Not everyone in our world is knowledgeable on benzodiazepines or any psych drug, especially tapering off of them. And so while this could be a situation that I think shouldn't really be happening, I think it shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way, that in the United States especially, that people are still in the dark about how to correctly taper off of a benzodiazepine or any drug at that matter. But that is the case. Not every state, not every city, not every country has physicians who are well equipped and very educated and are experts at the psych drugs and medications, especially benzodiazepines. And so I look back on this, I reflect on this, that I've come so far. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that God saved me, that I could have easily died. I did overdose in October 2010. It was a serious situation where I was prescribed many different drugs, not just Ativan, but many different drugs, including Prozac and Cymbalta and Ativan and Adderall. And when you get all these drugs and you start mixing them together, they could become potentially hazardous for your health and your safety. And in my own case, I did have negative, severe interactions that spiraled my life out of control to the point where I wanted to kill myself, and I overdosed. Thank God I lived. Thank God I worked hard through these past 5 years to climb that steep mountain, to push through the wicked withdrawals and the darkness and all the cobwebs where you feel like you can't think and you're just stuck, and you're stuck in a rut and you want to get out and you want your health back. And I'm thankful that I managed to just gradually, slowly regain my health. I'm so thankful that I am where I am today. I'm just blessed that I have survived this. I know today, if those are watching, whoever you are, wherever you live, whatever you're going through, have hope that there is life after benzos. There is healing after benzos. You do not have to stay on this drug indefinitely. If your doctor or someone such as a loved one is saying to you, you need this drug, you need to stay on this drug, I'm not telling you to stop, and I especially advocate to never ever go cold turkey. It's very dangerous to just stop abruptly and stop taking stop taking a drug. And that's every drug. Never, never, never cold turkey. However, you need to determine for yourself what's best for you. So if you feel that something's wrong and you're having really serious symptoms that are leading you down a very dark path, and you feel like you're living hell on earth, you may need to re-examine, rethink this whole thing and take a look. Are you on many medications? Are you on one medication? It's easier if there's just one drug, because if there's one drug, that is pretty easy, because you could say, there's only one drug, so it's not interacting with anything else, and so maybe you're just having negative reactions. Then you need to look at the big picture. Here's your negative reactions. Here's any positive. If the negative reactions is heavier, like it's like heavy duty, you may need to decide this isn't working, because you need positive. If you have more positives and there's a lot of good coming through your medication, maybe it's fine. Perhaps you should stay on it. If it's working for you, maybe just go with it. If it's not working for you, if you feel frazzled, if you feel like you can't think, if your memory is really fuzzy, if you can't sleep, you have insomnia, if your body hurts all over, if you have become suicidal, homicidal, violent, aggressive, depressed, have heavy-duty high anxiety, or you just hate yourself and you hate life, maybe you need to reconsider that this drug's not for you. Maybe you need to think about and really start looking into, how can you realistically taper the drug? How can you get people to support you and help you? Look into your physician. Look into any form of resources. There's many different websites and different support groups. There's a lot of books out there. There's just so much that you could find. And of course, you need to weed through some of the websites that may not be credible, may not tell the whole story. So you do need to use wisdom and maybe have someone help you along if you can. It's more beneficial for you if you do have support. But of course, I know we don't always have support. I mean, I look at my own situation from 5 years ago. It was a bad situation. I was in a situation where my husband was not living with me. He was working out of state. And I was at home trying to take care of children on my own in this situation. My doctor left the country, and I'm trying to wing it on my own. I mean, it was a bad situation. I was in an unpleasant situation. However, it was uncontrollable. Sometimes things that's how it happens. You don't always have control. In life, we do not always have control. And while we want it, we seek it, we pray for it, there are times where real life happens and it's stressful, it's not easy, and that's when we need to come up with at least one step of action that we can take that could lead us into a better outcome. And for everyone, it may be different. You have to look at what works for you. But during this holiday season, I think that the holidays is a time where there is more stress on people, even people who aren't dealing with benzodiazepines or depression, anxiety, just people in general. The holidays is stressful. People have a lot they're dealing with. There's usually a very big burden because finances are really being stretched, and sometimes people just don't have the money. They just don't have the money. Or there's times people get themselves in credit card debt. There's times where people have to be with family they don't want to be with. Not everybody has a happy, cheery family that's in harmony with one another. There are some families where maybe they butt heads and they don't get along. And if that's the case, try to give yourself space. Try to give yourself a little pampering, a little self-nurturing, self-care. Spend some time, journal, listen to music, soak in a hot bath. If you want to take a walk, if it's not freezing out or snowing and you're up to taking a little walk, go for it. Some people love exercise. I say, hey, if you love it, go for it, because exercise will actually boost those good, feel-good endorphins. That is good. You want to do this if you're able to, if you're physically or mentally able to really get a good workout, or even, hey, grab your 10 minutes. If someone can, for 10 minutes, do a little workout, or lift weights or go for a walk or do your gentle stretches or aerobics or whatever it may be. Do what works for you. Pace yourself. But try to find some realistic ways that you could help yourself this holiday season. Be gracious. Don't beat yourself up because, you're in a situation that may be out of control. You're in a situation, there's no use beating ourselves up and saying, you never should have taken this drug or this doctor never should have prescribed me this drug. What's done is done. So focus on what can you do. So think about what's one step you can take today. One step you could take to self-nurture, to bring some peace into your life, to help you in your healing process. And as for me, I tried many different natural methods. I did believe strongly that diet was a big thing for me. In my journey to wellness, I did decide to really look into genetically modified organisms and how dangerous they are to our health. The United States is just consumed with junk food, fake food, red dyes and artificial colors and preservatives and hormones and steroids, and it goes on and on and on. And so we have to educate ourselves. We have to look into, is something that I'm eating or drinking causing my mental health to spiral out of control? Could that red dye and that cheery drink maybe be setting me off? Is it causing me insomnia? Is it causing me to have mood swings? Am I bouncing off the walls with hyperactivity? Just kind of like look into what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you are consuming, and start researching ingredients. Basically become the CEO of your body, mind, and spirit. Take back control of your health one step at a time. And I believe nutrition is the first place. I believe that we do not have to subject ourselves to fast food. We do not have to subject ourselves to fake food. We do not have to subject ourselves to harming our bodies with foods that are potentially hazardous for our health. And brain health is important. Brain health is so important. And now I see, here it is, 5 years later, and I'm so grateful that I chose to clean up my nutrition, that I chose to nurture myself, that I chose natural holistic remedies. And that may not be for everyone, but each person has to determine what will work for them, what can help them heal, what can help to make them a stronger, emotionally stable person with a sound mind, and how they could move forward in their recovery. And so today, take back control. Take back control and start just with one step. One step. If that one step is, you know what? I'm going to stop the diet drink, or I'm not going to eat, and then fill in the blank. You know what it is. You know what you're consuming that may not be helping the situation. You know what it is. And we can only speak for ourselves. Hey, prior to this, I was a bread lover. Comes to find out, I don't do well with gluten. I don't do well with gluten at all. And so I had to determine, you know what? Am I going to keep eating bread? Am I just going to just ignore those symptoms screaming for my attention? Or am I going to just take back control and clean up my diet? For me, I had to suffer. I had to go through some physical and emotional battles. And then I finally decided in 2011, okay, I'm done. I've had it. I'm sick of being sick. And that's when I said, this is it. I'm ready. I'm ready for a new life. I'm ready to be transformed. And so 5 years later, I'm transformed. And you can be too. You can be transformed. You don't have to stay stuck in a rut. You don't have to keep doing what you're doing and what you're doing, and it's getting you nowhere, and there are no changes because you're just doing the same stuff. Sometimes we have to rethink. We have to look outside the box. We have to say, you know what? Maybe I should try something new. Decide what is that something new for you to do in 2016, and then take a step of action and do it. Make it happen. And I wish you a happy holidays. I wish that you will have wellness, especially in the new year. If you would like to connect with me, go to danaarcuri.com. If you're interested in hearing more about my own Benzo story and my wellness story, you could go to amazon.com and check out Harvest of Hope, Living Victoriously Through Adversity. It goes into the detail by detail. There's professional resources in the back. There's a lot of helpful insight. And nevertheless, I thank you for joining me on this YouTube video, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a very healthy, Happy New Year. Bye-bye.